I recently discovered that my husband had installed a tracking device in his sister's car. He's a mechanic, while he was fixing it for her. I found out about the tracking device when I heard him talking on the phone. He said his mom was on the phone and she knew about it, but I doubt it because she's close to my sister-in-law, and when he was talking on the phone, it didn't sound like he was talking to his mom. His tone was more formal than usual. I confronted him and he refused to tell me what was happening or expand on the situation. His sister and I are close. I threatened him to tell her and her husband, but he lashed out, saying that this had nothing to do with me and that I was out of line to get myself involved. He told me it's complicated, that he couldn't say anything to me now and that I should keep my nose out of it. We argued, and he started avoiding me, saying there would be an issue if I went through with my threat. Am I the idiot for threatening to tell her? Should I back off? You are the idiot for not telling her already. Also, all your devices are probably tracked. If he does this to his sister, he likely does it to you as well. Tell her. It's probably illegal, and if you know and don't say anything, you may also get into trouble if it comes out. She's not the idiot then. Stop blaming people looking for help and apply the blame where it belongs. Her husband. It's probably the sister-in-law's husband who wants her tracked, and that's who OP's husband was talking to. It's illegal for an ordinary person to install a tracking device on someone's car without their consent, and it can carry considerable criminal penalties. OP, your husband is the guilty party here, not whoever put him up to it. He could face considerable fines and even jail time. If you go through with your threat, there is an issue. Your husband will get a criminal record. My bigger concern is that your husband threatened you when you pushed him on it. This right here. If he's tracking her, he's tracking you. Dollars to donut, sister's husband asked OP's husband to put the tracker on her car because he thinks she's cheating. Regardless, it's wrong and disgusting. OP must tell sister-in-law immediately and begin to rethink this marriage. This is a horrible situation husband has put OP in, and frankly, one disturbing enough that I would be considering my relationship with him. I don't care if she might be cheating or whatever excuse they'll use. Cheating is disgusting too, but if they have to track her, they don't know if she actually is, and even cheaters have rights as a human. Not only would I tell the sister, but also probably law enforcement, as that's a blatant breach of her privacy. If he's also a licensed mechanic, he could face penalties. Go to a different mechanic and get your car checked. I bet there are many complicated reasons why your husband is tracking you as well. Agreed. You also need to make sure your own vehicle doesn't have a tracking device on it, which it probably does. Get your important papers in order and in a place your husband doesn't know, and prepare to leave. I'm not sure what he's up to, but it's not legal, and he's threatening you that there will be issues. Get yourself somewhere safe. This is not right or normal. My wife Maddie and I have been together for 5 years. I have a daughter, Rachel, young teen, and son, Mitch, tween, from my previous relationship, and a stepdaughter, Talia, same age as Rachel. We always have had separate finances and originally had similar paying jobs. While hers has definitely become better than mine, we've stayed as we are, aside from shared expenses being split more equally. Around 7 months ago, we found out Rachel is terminally sick. I've been doing everything I can for her, trying to help her and getting the best treatment I can afford. But the issue is, I can't. I'm draining my savings and can barely afford more basic treatment. I can pay for necessities and treatment, but nothing else. Maddie has been financially fine throughout. She's paying more for the necessities, but she's constantly buying Talia things, taking her out and letting her do things that I can't do for either of my children. I know we agreed to have separate finances, and it's not wrong per se, but it's definitely been causing some conflict, though I've tried hard to work it out. I know that it's my responsibility, but it's just not working well. I can't afford extracurriculums or for them to go out with friends or special dinners or anything. Rachel's birthday is coming up and I want to do something nice while we can. This is likely her last birthday, which is why I want it to be a really good one. I asked Maddie for help if she could cover her birthday because I couldn't, but Maddie refused. She's paying for almost all the essentials and doesn't think she should have to pay for this. She knows I can't pay her back and it's my responsibility. I understand all that, but it's not fair. I'm not asking for my own sake. Rachel and Mitch are already missing so much, and I know how horrible Rachel feels. I just want this one good special night for her. Also, Maddie currently earns 2.5 times as much as me. She doesn't have medical expenses, obviously, and pays 80% of the necessities. My ex has passed away and always refused to pay child support even when she was alive. Am I the idiot asking my wife to pay for my daughter's birthday when we have separate finances and I won't be able to pay her back realistically? No idiots here. You're not an idiot for asking. She's not an idiot for sticking to your original arrangement. Plus, you said she's paying for all the essentials, so it sounds like she's already contributing to shared expenses. Guilt-tripping her would make you an idiot. That being said, I'm curious about your relationships with each other's stepkids. There's a difference between separate finances and separate families. Your wife has known Rachel for 5+ years. Do they not have a connection at this point? There's a difference between her saying you're responsible for medical bills and not being willing to help with her last birthday. The wife sounds heartless. Rachel is terminally ill. This is her partner's child. Refusing to buy her terminally ill stepchild a birthday present? How? In what universe does that not make someone the biggest idiot in existence? You said we don't share money, so screw your dying kid. Really? The wife is a nasty piece of work for denying this, especially while constantly treating her own daughter. This is not a normal situation, and it's really disgusting that she has so little regard for her dying teenage stepdaughter. If their entire marriage is transactional, why the heck stay married? What is the value of this relationship? To be honest, OP should be on the way out of the relationship after he sorts himself out emotionally, because I cannot see any relationship surviving this kind of coldness. Your wife is paying 80% of the essentials and she makes 2.5 times more than you. Very precise. You also freely admit that you can't or won't pay her back. I just really feel like there's more to the story. I have a feeling your wife is saying no because otherwise you will drain her accounts the way you've drained your own. And I don't think it's out of greed, just carelessness. I'm not going to call a father with a sick child an idiot, but I'm also not going to call a woman with a child an idiot either for prioritizing her financial security and her own child. I'm sorry your daughter is sick, but if you are as careless as you appear, I don't blame your wife for saying no. She has to look out for herself and her daughter like you have to look out for your kids. How the heck is spending money on medical costs for a sick and now terminal child careless? He didn't go out and run up credit cards on crap he can't afford, and the idiot wife can constantly treat her own perfectly healthy daughter and shower money on her. Still, she won't do anything for her dying stepdaughter who's already lost her mother and her emotionally suffering husband. Why do people in marriages with mixed families not consider their stepchildren their children? This isn't a partnership. I do this for a friend, let alone my husband and his sick child. I think her true colours are showing, and they're ugly. My dad died when I, a teen male, was a baby. My mom remarried when I was 4. I don't remember when my stepdad wasn't around, though that's not very good. He's a crappy stepdad and a crappy dad to my 4 siblings. My mom stays with him, watching him not be involved or even nice to his own kids, because she doesn't want to be alone. My dad's family has always been in my life, and I'm very close to them all. My dad's only sister and I were extra close, though. She adored me and always told me I was just like my dad and that he was the best man she knew. She said he would be so proud of me, and unfortunately she died a few months ago and left the bulk of everything to me. She had a lot of assets. My mom and stepdad were annoyed when they heard because she left my cousins all something, even if not as much as me, but nothing for my stepsister or siblings, who considered her their aunt as well. Dad's family has included them in some stuff to be nice, but they're not considered grandkids or anything like that. My mom told me what I got should be split equally. I said it shouldn't because my aunt wanted stuff left for me. She told me that if I asked my grandparents to give me access to the money now, they would, and we could all benefit from it. I told her they would do that, but I'm not going to ask. My stepdad told me my siblings will now realize me and my paternal family, hate them and don't want them. They will see what a crappy brother I am and what a good sister his daughter is. She hates our siblings and has never had a good relationship with them. Mom told me I was hogging more than I would ever need and not thinking of their futures. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your mom and stepdad want access to that money and are using your siblings to get it. Tell your grandparents what you wrote here and don't even try to get that money before you're 18 and leave the house for your own sake. If your grandparents live nearby and you get along well with them, could you consider moving in with them if you get too much pressure at home? Side note, don't spend that money. Live simply and save it. Don't tell your friends and don't get some flashy car. You do not want the heat that will bring and the parasites that will come crawling. This 1,000,000 times over. The best thing you can do is say nothing to anyone about this money. Use it to live your best life and take the financial stress away. Your aunt left that money to you, not to support your mother, step-siblings, aunts, uncles or cousins. It's for you. Respect her wishes. Watch closely. Your mother or her husband may tell your siblings about the situation, which is none of their business, to increase pressure on you. That will tell you that their greed matters more than you do. I suspect your mother's husband is behind most of this, including manipulating your mother. He may try to trap and twist you in other ways. Avoid him. Reduce contact. Moving out would be a good idea. I recently married my incredible husband and the wedding was pretty perfect, though there was a bit of family drama. I didn't realise this was even an issue until I saw mother-in-law recently, and she was very cold to me. For our wedding, the immediate family was asked to wear the colours, so my mom had raspberry and my mother-in-law had a beautiful turquoise. It was a big formal wedding and it felt like the right choice for us. Mother-in-law expressed no problem, probably because she got one of her favourite colours. A few days before the wedding, mother-in-law had a serious riding accident and both of her wrists were broken. I'm empathetic and can't imagine having 2 casts on. I guess mother-in-law hadn't practiced eating with a fork with both arms in casts, and when she tried to eat at the reception, she got a pretty noticeable stain on the front of her dress. Mother-in-law got super uptight about stuff like that and needed the dress off immediately. She went to change and came back wearing a white cocktail dress. I was in shock and my maid of honour just looked at me like, "What?" We went over and gently confronted mother-in-law. She said that was the only other dress she had as she brought it to go out with her boyfriend the following night. I said she couldn't wear white at my wedding and she rolled her eyes. She snapped at me that her wrists were damn broken and told me to leave her alone. She tried saying it was fine because it was a cocktail dress and not floor length, but I felt really uncomfortable. I asked her to please put the other dress on, and she said she wasn't wearing a food-stained dress. I found my husband and told him how uncomfortable I was, and he told her to put the other dress back on or leave. So she left. I got a lot of crap the rest of the night from their side of the family. I thought we were over it, but she was super cranky the other day, so I was wondering if I was too much of an idiot. You are the idiot. Both of her wrists were broken and you were stressing about what colour she was wearing after dinner. You sound really cold. She will be your mother-in-law for a long time and you're getting off to a really bad start. I don't believe apologies fix everything, but you certainly owe her one. If you really think that your husband is incredible, show a little kindness to his mother. I can't believe they asked mother-in-law to leave the reception. That is despicable. I'm mystified that OP is surprised the mother-in-law is still upset. This obviously hurt mother-in-law, and OP is all la-di-da. Aren't you over that? OP, I don't know how you will ever make this right with mother-in-law, but I hope you'll try. You are totally out of touch with reality. My actual literal mother wore a white cocktail dress to my wedding. Know why? Because she felt pretty in it, and she's dealt with body image issues for a long time, so if she feels pretty in something, it's huge. She showed me a picture, I told her she looked great, and no one thought she was the bride. OP sucks so bad here. Mother-in-law's accident happened at the reception, not the ceremony. She didn't try to upstage OP with the change of attire. And this BS about you being uncomfortable because she was wearing a white dress? Seriously? Absolutely shut the heck up. Uncomfortable? No, you wanted all eyes on you and that is it. You didn't care about anything but yourself here. It's sickening. Even the gouge to her saying, I guess she didn't practice eating with her arms in 2 casts. Do you know how hard it would be to eat like that? And to go out of your way to say what you did and make her feel bad about her injury is despicable. Are you so insecure that you thought that people would forget that you were the person in the big flowing white gown that just walked down the aisle? Of course you are the idiot. And don't act like you felt bad that she was wearing 2 casts and was probably in pain. Obviously have no empathy or compassion for anyone else. I, female teen, have divorced parents like many people. My dad married my stepmom 3 years ago. My mom got married to my now stepdad 2 months ago. My parents' custody agreement has always been 50-50, which worked well, so my parents were able to co-parent well even though they got divorced. Before my mom married stepdad, we lived in a cute 2-bedroom apartment. It was small, but I liked it. Both my mom and I had our own space. Once mom and stepdad got married, my mom moved into his house. Now, my stepdad has twin daughters due to family issues. They live with him full-time. Stepdad has a 3-bedroomed house. When I first went to stay at my stepdad's place, I was informed I had to share a bedroom with my much younger stepsisters. When I said I thought there were 3 bedrooms, I was told the other room was my stepdad's man cave. I was willing to try staying in a room with the twins. I tried for a whole month. It just didn't work. They go to bed earlier than me and I have no privacy, which is nice to have as a teen girl. I asked my stepdad if we could make the other room a bedroom for me. He said he needed his space. So I told my mom I would start staying longer with my dad. I visit my mom 3 or 4 times a week. I go over to my mom's on weekdays when I get off school and stay over there until 10:30 p.m, so I'm over there for quite a few hours. When I'm there on weekends, it's longer. Recently, my mom has been complaining that she barely sees me anymore. I told her I was sorry she felt that way, but it wasn't right that I was expected to share a room with 2 kids. I also said it's more understandable if we truly didn't have the room, but we do. Stepdad is just being selfish, and you agree with him instead of prioritizing my needs as a teenager. Mom got upset. Stepdad called me selfish and an idiot, saying kids share rooms all the time. Your stepfather is calling you selfish? Well, that's rich. Your mom should have advocated for you before she ever agreed to marry or move in with the guy. Not the idiot your mom and stepfather are. Your mom made her choice and you're making yours. I don't blame you. Expecting a teen to share a room with 2 children when there's another bedroom available is ridiculous and even cruel. Her letting your stepdad call you an idiot isn't cool either. I bet he'd freak out if she called his girls brats. I hope your mom's happy now. Your stepfather is a parent. He's being selfish and irresponsible. If it were an office and he worked from home, I'd maybe see it differently. But no, he doesn't get a man cave if he crams his 3 kids into another room. What are his poor twins going to do when they're teens? Get the custody agreement rewritten so you're 100% with Dad. I can't see a family court letting the man cave slide.